The following program is a real estate and mortgage show and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Reality Radio 101, its advertisers and sponsors, or its listening audience. Listener discretion is advised. Good evening and welcome to Your Home, Your Money with your hosts Randy, Jackie, and Anthony right here on Reality Radio 101. To get on board, send us an email. Our email address is yourhomeyourmoney101@gmail.com. And now, ladies and gentlemen, right to your hosts of Your Home, Your Money, Randy, Jackie, and Anthony.
Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome back.
Good evening, I mean.
Yeah, it's not good morning anymore.
I said good afternoon, lady. Get it right.
Good evening.
Good afternoon? What's good afternoon? Our show was 11 a.m. before.
I understand that, but I said good afternoon by mistake at first. Then I corrected myself, said good evening. Or good night.
She started on you, Anthony. This is good.
All right.
This is a good thing. So
Well-
maybe she'll lay off me then.
No, I won't, because I'll tell you why. Because my husband decided for the first time in 10 years to help with the dishes the other night because I wasn't feeling good. Yeah, that's the first kick, Anthony.
Did he do a Ray Romano?
Oh, no, I'm telling you. He went around the house after and complained to everybody.
That's not true.
What's going on with the girls? Why do they have all these cups? None of them match. I'm like, they like
Mugs.
I'm like, they
It's
buy
ridiculous.
Halloween mugs. They buy.
We have bunch of mugs.
anime,
Why
right?
do you need mugs that match?
No. Why do you need more than 8 mugs? Let's say you have 4 people in the house. You could have 4 people over.
I don't know.
What
Why
do
do
you
you
need
need 10,000
47
things?
mugs for?
Anyways,
Wait, were they all dirty at one time?
No,
it's because
but
they
it's not
just
the
taken
point.
up cupboards
They-
and cupboards, right? Because they collect them, right?
Because then
And there's
you
even
open the cupboard
more.
and they fall out.
They haven't even more. They have more that they haven't even taken out. Okay, that's just something that they do.
But
and
that's
when
a disease.
Can I finish?
No, it's a
Shush.
disease.
What's a disease?
How much you talk?
You have a
I mean
disease.
the mugs.
You have a disease
I
with
mean-
collecting technology stuff that you
Too
don't
many
use.
mugs.
You
That's
don't
the
get me
disease.
going.
I didn't mean.
One year,
to talk.
Randy decided that. Now I'm going on to another thing. One year, Randy decided
So
that
you're
we were
done with
going
the mugs?
that we were going to update our real estate photos, all of us. But we couldn't just hire a photographer. No, we can't do that. Buddy went out and bought the cameras, the lights. Like, we're talking professional grade because he wanted to update our photos. So please don't talk about the girls and their $5 mugs that they buy themselves.
But electronics are cool.
But if you've taken photographs, you need to buy all the equipment. When you're not even a photographer, he bought thousands of that. This was years ago. Thousands. He even bought these board things for doing commercials. He never used it.
You know.
No. What are you going to say?
I gotta say, just because you yell, it doesn't make it true.
It is true.
That-
And Gary and Mike can contest to that because Gary knows about that equipment that you bought
Mike,
and didn't use it.
Gary, and Mike. Jackie has spoken, and she believes that she's right. Did we buy any photography stuff, or was it all videography stuff?
I'm sorry, you guys are breaking up. I'm sorry, I can't.
Thank you, Gary. See, that just tells you right there.
We
that
are
tells you
going
right
to
there.
break up. I agree.
Anyways, so I go home and I'm cleaning up the dishes before I'm coming back to do the show. And I'm putting the stuff in the dishwasher. And all of a sudden, Mike's bringing stuff, the one
Is
piece
that
right here.
photography
Woo, woo.
stuff? See, she's
It's all
yelling again.
technology. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Love you, Mike.
You gotta turn down her mic.
Anyway, so all of a sudden, he did the dishes once. And now he's critiquing me. And I'm putting stuff in the dishwasher. He's coming with
Upside
another
down.
one.
Is that videography?
It gets
or
better.
Is that,
It gets
is that
better.
photography?
There is a room. He's not
Wait,
done.
wait.
There's a room full.
She's yelling.
Can I interrupt you for a second though? So he did the dishes, so I put in stuff in the dishwasher after the
No. This was last week. He did them.
last
Okay.
week.
Okay.
He did them last week.
That was 2 nights
so
ago.
today, 2 nights ago, whenever. Today, every time I put a fork or a knife in a dishwasher, he moved it and told me I was doing it wrong. Oh no! Oh no!
Is that for videography?
Mike
or
is still
photography?
coming. Mike is still coming with boxes, people.
Okay, so
And I got an issue, and my daughters have an issue with cups.
is it just me or
Anyways, he told me
is she loud
that
as anything?
I have been doing the dishwasher for many, many years now, and he tells me tonight, because he loaded the dishwasher 2 nights ago, that I don't know how to do it.
wait, stop. Because you said he did the dishes. You mean he loaded the dishwasher?
No, and washed the pots and
okay.
everything,
I
right?
was just
Because
checking.
you got certain and
But
cleaned
you
off
ha-
the
you have to
stove.
wash the
But
dishes
anyways-
before you put them in the dishwasher.
But no, that's not the
anyways.
point. The point
No,
is,
it is.
you read about it. There is one dishwasher expert for Maytag that says when you wash off your dishes too much before you put them in a dishwasher, the whole thing what a dishwasher does is detects the dirt. So if they don't see dirt, they definitely don't wash them properly because they don't think it's dirt on them.
This might be with high-end
But
wash
anyway,
machines.
well, I have a Bosch.
Some $4 billion dishwasher with eyes.
But anyways, so now tonight I can't load. I don't know how to load dishwasher. He tells me I need to look it up. I don't know what I'm doing. And I said, if you stick the knives up like that, every time I go to unload the dishwasher,
yeah.
I'm going to stab myself. Well, you can't put them down. I'm like, well, you know I'm going to stab myself. So that's my husband in a nutshell.
Maybe he's,
Okay.
maybe he's out to get you.
That's what it is. That's why you put the knives up, isn't it? And the fork, so I could stab myself.
You'll stab yourself anyways.
Because if I slip on water in the kitchen and fall on the knife,
the forks you put up, the knives you put down.
I put them all down, man, because I am hopeless. I'm going to stab myself. I'm going to trip. I'm one of these people.
You put the forks up, and actually all of them should go up, but the knives
The
you
sharp
could,
knives
if
go
you-
down.
You could put them down, but what I do is I put them on the end so that they're not out in the
Oh, you
open.
know where they
they're
are,
on the
okay.
end, and I put them up because that's where they're going to get the most water. So
That's what he does
had
once
to-
every 10 years.
well, the thing is that it's a good thing I did because you were doing it wrong all these years. And only now did I find out.
He's a righteous, pompous, you know what? Anyways, guys, we're live on Facebook right now as well. So you want to see Randy spitting his water out everywhere? Yeah. Tell you, I'm spot on tonight. Woo!
I don't think so. Just because you yelling didn't make
Look,
it
you spit
wrong.
on my iPad. Dirty, rotten boy.
So November has come, and it looks like the market over last year. Now, last year was an absolutely horrible year, one of the worst on record. For example, last year we had a average price of 1.126 by the end of the year. And the year before that was 1.190, and so it went 1.190, so it went down 75,000. The year before that was 1.095. So 2021 was our peak. So hold on, 2021 was our average price was 1.095. But then 2022, it actually went up to 1.190. But don't forget that actually partway through 2022 was really when things went crazy. And then we went to 1.126, and right now we're at 1.120. So it's actually only like 3 years ago, because that was when it actually went crazy, right? 3 years ago, we're seeing the prices now begin to stabilize. However, the thing is, in 2020, okay, 2020, let's look at the number of transactions. We had 95,000 transactions. We almost broke 100,000 transactions in 2020.
In 2020. Okay.
Right? And so 5 years later, because most people get a 5-year mortgage, right? Their term is 5 years and they have to renew it. 5 years later is when?
For 2020?
2025.
2025. Next year. So we have almost 100,000 transactions that purchased during peak real estate and at interest rates of like 2% and below-ish,
Wasn't it?
all coming due.
But isn't this the whole
Now-
point of the stress test, though? The whole point of the stress test is so when all this blew up, that people could still afford it because they're paying 2% more. Wasn't that what the government tried to put out there?
This was exactly what they
Yeah.
were trying to do. However, it wasn't all too effective because nobody expected the government to raise it at 4 points.
And even with that, with the stress test, yes, it's meant to, I guess, safeguard you. But when you're buying a home at the maximum that you're possibly get, even with that stress test, okay, the stress test is say whatever else it wants to say, but like it's not accounting for other things like your kids going to daycare or
And
And
daycare
gas
prices
and
going
food.
up.
or and different and everything prices going up
Everything's
or
up.
activities they might be in. So-
Eating all that extra money.
So then everybody starts feeding their kids crap because they can't afford to buy good food. Come on, people.
So 2021, we had 121,000 transactions.
Wow.
And that was at that time, Bank of Canada was at 0.25, not even 1%. They were at 1/4%, the Bank of Canada rate, and now they're well over 4, right? And so, so now you're looking at what is transpiring here is that all these mortgages are coming due now. Okay, and tomorrow actually Bank of Canada is going to make an announcement and probably lower the rates another 1/4% or 0.5%. But all those people who at the time when the Bank of Canada had a 1/4% rate is now coming into low prices and high interest rate, which means high their mortgage is going to be very high. So that's 2025 and 2026. Now, remember the number of transactions, 95,000 and 121,000. That's over 200,000 transactions. Now, last year, we did 65,000.
75. Oh, last year, sorry.
So last year,
Yeah, 64.
65 last year.
Okay, I thought that was 2020.
75 the year before that, and then 121. So it just
It keeps
really
going
started.
down.
It really started to drop, and this year we're at 64,277. So it looks like we will beat the number of transactions for last year, which is telling us that we're starting possibly we flatlined and we're possibly going to be coming back up. Possibly. Now, the market is going to shatter into separate segments, okay? We're going to have a fragmented marketplace where we have all of these transactions coming to renew, and there's just not, they want to get more money out so they can try to maybe buy down their mortgage or support their lifestyles or that. And they just can't because there's no money in their house. In some cases, if they go to sell it, they have to actually write a check in order to sell their home. And their mortgage payments have gone up $1,500, $2,500, $3,500, $4,500 increase over what it was before because the rates are so much higher. So they're kind of stuck in there's many people stuck in this catch-22. So it's kind of tough times coming through the pipeline. This we're going to see starting next year, carrying through to 2026. And that's really what's going to tell us what is going to happen in this marketplace. So this is where everybody is feeling really positive because we've had 2 months of positive increase in sales. People are like, hey, things are going good. But you've got to remember the sales were over one of the worst Octobers and Novembers that we've ever seen. And those were really bad Novembers, and we're competing against those now. So for us to have positive numbers is not something that we're jumping for joy for because the numbers are skewed because you're going over very low numbers from last year. And for the people who are saying, oh yeah, the market's doing better and the price has gone up a little bit over last year and transactions are up quite a bit over last year, 40% actually over last year. They're saying, oh yeah, the market's turning around. Well, not so quick. You got to remember these 200,000 people that are coming through the pipeline when there's only 65,000 transactions happening. So if those 200,000 and even if only 30% of them, that is 100% of the transactions that are occurring this year, right? Close to 100%. So all those people coming on the market on top of the normal marketplace, that's going to definitely have a downward pressure on the marketplace. So we're going to see what's going to happen moving forward, and we'll get into more buzz about the marketplace after you go through some of your funny emails.
All right, well, we have one from Joe. Joe says, loved it. Hey all, we just love how Jackie was winning and Randy changed the topic really quick. You go, girl.
Winning? What was she winning at?
Winning all of it.
First of all, she talked about photography stuff.
I was winning.
It was all videography stuff.
It doesn't matter. It's all the same theme.
The whole example, though, was about we needed photos, and we didn't buy any photo stuff.
Yeah, you did. You bought camera.
No,
you bought lights.
That was a video.
You bought
cam.
lights, which they use for photography. So what was the lights for?
They use different lights.
No,
for
what was the lights for?
For videography. That was for photography. You use different lights. They use domes and a flash.
Randy, stop.
They do.
Randy, stop. What about the moon? What about the moon? What about the moon
like
camera that you had to have when it came out?
We had to go on a trip to Niagara Falls.
What about that
so
12?
I got a
$1,200 something was
snowmobile, or I got a toboggan. It's not the same.
NK 1200, where you could really emphasize on the moon. What about that camera you had to have? Did you use it?
Yeah, we used it in Barbados.
Once, right? Once, right?
In Barbados.
Once, right? Once.
Talking about once.
See, look at the face. You guys have got to be watching
to look
us.
at the moon? You bought a camera to look at the moon?
It was, yeah.
Why don't you get a telescope?
No, it takes photos of the moon.
See, he used it once in Barbados.
But it also that's
Mike
not
has it right here.
That's
Is that
not
it,
it.
Mike? Is that
That's
the
it?
one?
That's not
it. Is that the one?
No.
No.
That was.
Oh, that's
Truly's.
another one. That's another one he bought.
That
That was
was
7,000.
yeah. That
No,
was
the
Truly's.
moon one is 1,200. It's
Yeah,
1,200.
that was Truly's camera.
Oh,
She
Oh
had
shit!
for
There's
school.
different lenses
So where's
for that at
where's
home
this
too.
picture?
Huh?
Where's this famed picture?
Oh no, I
wow.
can show you.
Lenses too?
Yeah,
There's
these
more
this
lenses at
comes
home
out
for that.
like
How much does this camera cost? I'm just curious.
Oh, jeez.
She's
don't even wanna
talking about
know.
10 years ago.
No, it wasn't 10 years ago.
It
Nice
was
try.
like 10 years ago, and it was like $1,000.
Good Lord.
It was more.
Next
than
time,
that, but
buy a
anyways.
telescope for $400.
It was more than that,
And
but
you get-
I'll
you
let
get
him
the
have that.
adapter
But
for your phone. You can take a picture.
you could be on the island in Barbados and take pictures of people playing in
Oh,
St.
who
Lucia.
cares about it? You didn't use it though.
I found it.
You found it.
That's it.
Wow! That's
That's
it. There she
That's
is.
Take a look at that monster.
Yeah, I might
That's
borrow-
it.
I
Yeah.
might borrow that.
It's pretty cool. It is cool, but never used
It
it.
just
Maybe for
it
the
goes
moon.
out.
Got put on the tripod for the moon. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a 1200.
He did
too.
though. When we were in Barbados, he I don't know how focused in, and it was way across a different island, and you could actually see. Like, it was pretty cool, but that was the one time he used it.
Yeah, so with Jackie winning, so she was wrong about
I actually
the
have
photography.
lenses at home for those things too.
Photography versus videography, she was wrong. And then she didn't even know how to load a dishwasher. So I'm not sure how she was winning,
oh
Joe.
my gosh. Do you
Well,
want to
all
finish
right.
the emails
I'll
first?
finish it, but you're not fully right with that article. Just so you,
This is Martha Stewart
I'm
says,
just saying, Jackie, you're
for
not.
increased hygiene, point utensils down in the dishwasher.
Now I'm gonna give a bit of a caveat here. Now it did say if you read it,
Martha Stewart.
It
I'm
did
not
say-
reading
it-
no more than the caption, okay?
it did say if you read it, it's better for it to be
Up to clean it.
upside down because when you take it out, you're not less likely to touch the part you eat with.
Oh.
However, for a
Just what it said.
however, for a deeper clean, they say up is better.
Yeah. So
Okay,
if you
but
have
here's the thing,
coordination,
but-
then you can use the dishwasher properly. But because you don't have any coordination.
But that's what I told
need
you. I
to-
didn't pretend. I said I'm going to stab myself with it.
So Martha Stewart is speaking for all women here.
But she didn't say you're gonna stab yourself. She said you're more likely to mess up with
But
your.
that
she
was
would
what
stab
that was my
herself.
reason with him at home. I said, I'm going to hurt myself with those knives up or
You
the
hurt
forks.
yourself anyways.
and I
Didn't
guess-
you bump your feet after that?
To be devil's advocate here as well, if you know, I can understand if you didn't know they're up, but if you know they're up,
I won't remember, Anthony.
Well,
That's why
won't
he's
use
still
your
around,
eyes?
because every day is a new day because I don't remember yesterday.
You won't use your eyes?
and we have another email
Okay, thank you, Joe, but you're wrong.
from Sadie. Sadie says, "Hey, real estate people, we don't care about real estate numbers. We can't even afford Christmas gifts this year. We want and need some entertainment. Let Jackie and Randy fight." Well, you just got a little bit of that, Sadie.
Oh, this is Sadie. This goes on 24/7 in our lives. I don't know. It's a big joke. That's all we do. Oh, is that it?
Is
We have
that it?
more? Oh, they saw Randy's storage for his closet. All those cameras. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Go ahead, read. Oh.
Did you get this one?
I agree with you. So, Sadie also has some, I guess, blessings, I guess. May God bless the gospel pulse. It is almost time when our Lord is born. I can't wait. Love to you all.
Thank you.
And we got another one from
Who was that, Sadie?
Sadie.
Sadie,
She wrote back in?
But wasn't the Lord born in April? Okay.
Like you would know.
The dishwasher show with. All right, people.
The dishwasher show?
That's from Catherine. She's, I guess we've kind of
Got way off topic.
veered off
Catherine.
topic,
Yeah.
with which usually happens with you two sociopaths.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess one little article I do have to talk about more real estate based is to deal with the LTB, what's it called?
Loan to value?
No, the people for the rental place. The,
Landlord and
Landlord
tenant,
tenant board.
LTT.
LTB.
Oh, LTB.
LTB,
sorry.
yeah. So pretty much, I guess they're seeing, I guess, less, I guess, kind of like reduction in case backlog of 20%. Sure, there's still, it's okay. I'll give this caveat: it's less backlog. There's still a backlog. You're still waiting, but there's less of it. 20% over the past year. They're aiming to resolve over 100,000 cases by the end of 2024, which is the highest in history. So yeah, again, I guess long story short, if you're gonna rent, just be careful. Make sure you're doing your as much due diligence as you can. Again, you can never fully know. I would say, I guess one thing is, I guess credit checks are a decent thing to check for, because again, if someone has good credit, hopefully they want to keep having good credit.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta, one of my clients called me today and she's, cause she went by her house, dropped off some extra keys. The people moved in on the 1st of December. And she called to thank me. She said, oh my gosh, she said, I absolutely love these tenants. They're sweethearts, they're so nice. The home looks amazing. But it's hard. And as a realtor, I have to be honest with you, I get scared doing leases because people can look really good. I mean, I've even went to people's houses and saw how they live now before I let them sign a paper with my landlord, and it's still flopped out. So it is really, really tough. But one thing we did this time was we decided that we were going to look for a very mature older couple that are long-term renters as well. They're leaving their rental because their place is getting sold where they were renting. So that may have had a little bit of a caveat to it, but at least we lucked out this time. So
Well, time will tell. Well, one thing that I guess to add on to the same article, current wait time. So again, even though there's 20% reduction, if you're trying to, I guess, adjudicate non-payment of rent applications, you're still looking at a 3-month wait. So if they're behind 1 month in rent right now, they might be behind 4 months by the time you get to actually.
I find that really hard to believe.
Hard to believe, or hard to believe that actually happens, you mean?
That is right, that's going to happen that quickly.
Oh, okay.
But,
Very hard to
Yeah,
believe.
but why would you find that hard to
Because
believe?
there's people that have had ongoing issues for a year, so now
Yeah,
all of
but
a
that
sudden.
was the old, Jack. They just said they downed it by 20%. 3 months is still not a great time.
Yeah,
If
3
the
months is
person
great-
didn't pay
ridiculous.
their rent, now they didn't pay their rent, you have to be out 4 months that you have to go and pay your mortgage
Okay,
for
so-
until you can even be heard. And
Just-
then once you're being heard, that could be another 30, 60 days before they're out. So you've got 6 months of mortgage payments, plus you got to pay where you live.
Okay, so this is just getting in front of
It's-
somebody, not
right,
resolving
exactly. Well, they don't kick him out
Okay.
that day. So it's not that easy. And then they give them a date that they have to get out. And if they're really the professional tenants, they're not moving out on that day anyways. Then you gotta go and get the sheriff.
Yeah.
Then the sheriff says, oh, I'm busy, because a lot of people are getting kicked out right now, so I need to book a couple of weeks later. So you got a couple of weeks more. He goes and puts a note on the door and says, okay, I'm coming back in a month.
How does it work? Like if they're being evicted, let's say by the 15th of this month, and you can't. I know you can't like.
Call it the first.
I could call it
So
first,
it's
sure.
easy.
But like if they go to work, you can't just lock them out, type of thing.
No, you
The
can't.
sheriff can, you
So
can't.
So when they leave, they have to tell you, okay, I'm gone now, or
They
like
don't have to tell you anything.
so.
So how do you
strip,
know?
They
Yeah,
stripped
so I'm saying-
everything, your light switches,
So-
your.
So you give notice, you go to the house, you give notice that you're entering the property. So if you can slide in the door, put it in the mailbox, give 24-hour notice that you're coming to check. And then you go and you check on the place. And if it looks like they've left, then they've left. If they still got stuff there, you got issues.
Nice. Something I
Yeah.
want to say, but
And
not
if-
on air.
And if they haven't left, what? And if
What the price?
and if they
Price.
haven't left,
Where-
it's sold for that?
Yeah, right now, sorry.
But where is it though? Is it,
Oshawa.
Oshawa.
is it a decent part of
Central.
Oshawa?
No,
But it's a
Still, it's-
bigger home.
sorry, just, we have a listing coming up.
So the thing is that you're going to have to be patient as a landlord. Times right now, landlord and tenant board, as they say, is getting better. But 3 months is easily turns into 5 months. So if you're a landlord that can't afford to pay 6 months of mortgage payments, then maybe being a landlord is not the right thing for you.
I don't know how many
And
landlords.
6
can aff-
months may be short, because who knows what could happen. It could go back to, like what Jackie said, a year or plus. And that makes it very complicated.
Yeah, well, I don't know how many people can afford 6 months because like I know people who it's like their first home, but
Yeah.
they're not moving in quite yet, just because again they're trying to get some other things resolved. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a risk, but I guess you want to make sure you take
It's
that
hard
risk.
times. Well, and it's because of the government's position. You see, the government's position is that the big landlords are the who are making the rules for, right? Oh, you're a big landlord. You have 100 units. So what if 1 or 2 go bad? Yeah, I would agree. That's your profit. You're not cutting a check. That's your profit that's paying for that. But not when you're a ma and pa, and this is how you were hoping to get your retirement.
It should be a two-tier system then.
And you were hoping on that.
But
and-
Kathleen Wynne shouldn't have blanketed it the way she did. She blanketed it like, oh, all landlords are the rich one and the poor tenant, right? I mean, so now the people are losing their investment, which was their retirement fund, really, because she decided that they were all rich.
And Ontario spoke after.
Yeah, they kicked her to the curb. But her rules are still here, affecting everybody years later. It's like when she's dead in the hole, they're still going to be affecting people.
You know what? You know how much they're affecting? The actual prices, rental prices right now are in part because of those kind of rules.
And now people don't want to do rental.
Like
in their homes. They don't wanna do it.
And so you create a shortage of rental units,
Yeah.
driving up the price.
Yeah.
So that's the
And
thing.
I don't
when you
know
got
how-
all those mom and pa's that don't want to be landlords, all those properties are now off the market. And now you got a lot less properties to choose from, and therefore you're fighting prices.
So-
So
'cause right
government
now-
intervention is a scary thing.
Yes, it is. When especially when they get involved and think that they know better for us than we do. And right now they're saying the rent has eased up a little bit. But what do you think is going to happen next year when everybody has to sell their homes?
That's going to be an
And a lot of
interesting
people
time.
cannot rebuy.
Yeah.
Or don't want to rebuy a dinky little home, let's say. They rather
With a high
put out
interest.
some rent money and get a bigger home. What's going to happen to rent?
It'll be a more competitive
It's going to
market
be a
again.
monstrous problem. Very, very, it's going to be a big problem. Like, it's not going to be affordable again.
So, sweetheart, what do you got? Well, I mean, what do you got
We
going
got
on?
some-
Any
Before,
buzz?
one more email from Jim. Jim says, why bother buying? No one can afford the down payment, and rent is just like having a mortgage. We are all in trouble. Well, rent is getting kind of crazy, and I think that's kind of the reason why you want to try to figure out how to get a house, because if
Yeah.
you're going to be killing yourself with rent, you might as well try to bite the bullet and get into something.
Jim,
More too, did you do
Oh,
those?
yeah.
can I tell Jim?
Go ahead.
You tell
Okay,
Jim
Jim.
whatever you want, but he might not like it.
Jim, this is what's up. You said that rent is similar to a mortgage, and it is now. Rents are so high, I can't even believe it. I honestly can't even believe it.
They're still
So,
cheaper than mortgage, but
in some cases, not in all cases. And so here's the thing, Jim. 25 years from today, Jim, you're going to have rented for 25 years. How much money is your landlord going to cut you a check for? That's my question. Jim, in 10 years, your rent is not going to be the same rent it is today. And in 20 years, it's going to be even higher. And then in 25 years, when it's time for, whatever to happen in your life, rents are going to be even higher again. But guess what, Jim? If you bought a home and you paid the high mortgage for 25 years, 25 years later, you have no mortgage. You're not paying rent. You're not paying anything. And if you decide to sell, you can call it the landlord. They're cutting you a big fat check. Big fat check. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why the dream is still alive. And so what I would say, don't cover it, right? So what I would say is that it definitely is worth trying to find your way through the process. And I'll say one more thing, Jim, is that it's not only about the appreciation value. And I mean, I didn't even talk about that in that scenario because typically in 25 years, the housing prices have doubled. Typically, this last 25 years out of control. It's a lot more than double, quadrupled in 25 years. But if it doubles, Jim, and you bought a $600,000 home, that means your home's worth $1.2 million. That means you're getting a $1.2 million check for renting or mortgaging for 25 years. But even if prices did not move and they stayed the same, which has never happened in a 25-year history, in the history of housing, even if it did stay the same, Jim, you still get a $600,000 check at the end. So this is the reason why people buy. And that's specifically why it's worth not losing hope, not losing sight of where your future lies, because it's certainly, if renting is the game, it can go bad fast. And what I mean by that is, if you look back, Jim, 10 years ago, you could get places for $1,200. $1,300 a month. Now, good luck at $2,500 a month. Good luck. And so the prices of rent go up like crazy. And those people 10 years ago that were paying $1,200 a month rent, and the people who bought are paying 15 or 17, guess how much those people are paying today? They're paying 15 or 17, but you're paying 25 to 3,000 for rent because they bought 10 years ago. They're paying less than you are. So be careful.
And they built a lot of equity.
And they built a lot of equity. Be careful of losing hope because the country's being mismanaged. Okay, sorry. Do the next email.
Well, Jim kind of replied.
Yeah.
He said, "We get it, Randy, but again, you did not answer the question. The down payment. Who can do it? I make $65K a year, 10 years on the job, excellent credit in the high 700s, $40K in the bank. Everyone would laugh at me."
Okay, so Jim, you have
Yeah.
40K in the bank. I don't know where it is you live, but if you live in Toronto, you're so close to being able to buy a home. You're not far away, Jim. A $600,000 home is only a $35,000 down payment. So there are some things. You do have a little bit of an issue with your income being 65,000. But if you do find a significant other and they're making 65 or 40, you're right there. So you're not that far off. People do look at these kind of things and think of other things. Sometimes you may, come up with a side hustle. Sometimes maybe not. Maybe you're thinking, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll work on having a tenant that'll help with the difference in rent. There are answers when you start looking for them. But with $40,000 in the bank, Jim, you are closer than you think to home ownership. And I would actually suggest that you maybe talk to a financial advisor who can take that money, can go and do some special things for you.
And first-time home buyer, if you qualify
If you're a
for that.
first-time home buyer, you've got some more little benefits there. But they can, do things and get you a loan that's an RSP loan that will let's say, for argument's sake, these numbers are totally fictitious. But if you were to get a $10,000 loan that you're paying $100 a month or $120 a month or whatever it is on it, and you file it on your taxes and you get a tax return of $4,000, you can take that $4,000 and put it right on that loan and bring that loan down to $6,000. But you've already saved $4,000 and you've got another $6,000 going towards home ownership.
Actually,
And you
it's
can do
funny.
the same thing next year, save another
Yeah.
$4,000, put it down on that. You've only got a $2,000 loan now, but plus you've been making payments on it. So talk to a financial advisor and see, you're a lot closer than you think. And the other thing I would say is, I don't know where you reside, but if you're in the metropolis, if you're in the heart of the city, I recognize that makes it very, very difficult. You would be looking at a bachelor suite or something of that nature, but they do happen down there. But if you were willing to go train it, now you're in an area where there's actually
And
detached
get
homes
yourself a
in that
basement
price range.
apartment in there and
In there,
get some income. You're laughing. You're ahead of the game.
Well, if you really wanted, Jim, you're closer than you think, and that's actually part of what the financial advisor that comes on here wants to let
Teaches
everybody know.
people how to
is
gain
use-
money, to put it on things to make more money.
Right. Use the government incentive programs to help you to get more money, that helps you to save money on your taxes, that helps you to pay for the loan that you got, that helps you to be able to buy a house. And
But this is but honestly, you need to know how to work those programs. Like
Programs,
you do need
yeah.
to talk to a professional and know how to work the programs to get the maximum,
the
out of them.
maximum results. Yeah.
But there are people out there that can help you with that. And like Randy says, we have the one guy that comes on, and I
But they
was-
don't charge you for this information. Their whole goal is to get you on a financial stable track where that you're utilizing money to the best that it can be used, and then they will help you with insurance and that, and that's where they start to make money. So, this is a great way to start. Thanks for your email, Jim.
I think someone else sent one in.
No, that was it.
Oh, Tina. Tina is buying a 2-story cardboard house. You go, Tina.
Yeah, I would also invest
Duct
in
tape is pretty good these
I would
days.
invest in some plastic
That's what I'm saying, in duct tape.
I've heard
or
some stories.
canvas.
Some stories about some new homes where it seems like they might be made out of
Oh
cardboard.
my gosh, no kidding, hey? I've been watching, I love HGTV, and man, there is, the last one I watched yesterday, just to be very quick, like 1 minute, the guy did a reno, had to bring somebody else in to finish it, but the people that poured the foundation on one part of the house, they put no rebar in it.
Huh, nice.
Nothing.
So it's cracked up. Or would
Because they
crack up.
didn't finish the job, so they had a couple places that they were supposed to come back and put the concrete in. And the husband knows a little bit about home renovation and stuff, right? So he looked and he's like, there's no rebar here. So then he called in another company because he couldn't get, even the one company, when the new contractor called him, they hung up on her. And she's like, I can guarantee you, even before we open it up, that if they didn't put rebar here, they didn't put it there. So
Yeah.
and you're not watching some of these people do the jobs, that foundation's gonna crumble. And it was a 3-story home, 3,000
Why
square
is this
feet.
a new build? Or no, who you
It was a
talking
reno,
Okay.
but like I guess they were digging, excavating in the basement or something, and they had to put new concrete and rebar in. And I'm like, that was scary to like see that somebody is okay with, Jim, I think.
No, that's
did
one.
you
That's
do-
one I
also
read.
when you
yeah,
did?
yeah.
So it's kind of scary what some contractors will do to you and walk away with a smile on their face, and I don't know.
Yeah,
It just
it's
shows
kinda
that you
scary.
really need to be involved in the project and watch how it's going as
Well,
well.
that and-
If you know how to identify.
But it's
the
also
issues.
making sure don't just go in the book and look at the first person. You want to get hopefully some word of mouth from people you've know and trust who've gotten some work done before.
Yeah, and that could be a problem too, right, Randy?
Yeah, it
Which
could,
one of
yeah.
our clients is experiencing right now?
Yeah.
Used this contractor 4 or 5 times, their whole family's used her, and right now,
Oh yeah.
Actually, I heard as high as 10 the times they've used them
use
and
them
referred them.
and they did have a problem once, but the one guy
Right.
never came back and said, yeah, we had a little bit of issue, and they're like, well, why didn't you tell us? But they've done a lot of work for them and their friends, and right now we're
It's a
having
problem.
big
Problem,
problem for our
problem.
client. That,
So we
yeah.
are running out of time,
Yeah.
and
Oh, sorry.
quite frankly,
Do
what
the
you say
figures
is
then.
not that important. It's really,
Well, if we weren't live, I'd probably throw my water on you, but I'll skip it right now.
yeah, and that's something
I'll
that
just
I do
drink it and
enjoy.
sit back and be quiet.
I do enjoy that so much. Okay, so do you have anything more? No?
Go ahead.
Okay, well, Bank of Canada overnight rate right now is what, 3.8%. So it's coming down, and then tomorrow it's going to come down another 1/4% or 0.5%, bringing it down to 3.3 or in that range. People are getting excited about that, but the truth of the matter is, what does that really mean to you? Well, it really doesn't mean a heck of a lot, to be honest. Who here would go and get a variable mortgage? You know, the problem with a variable mortgage is the guy running the variable mortgage, Tiff Macklin, the same guy that's caused a lot of this disturbance, unneeded disturbance. He actually lied to us. He didn't mean to lie to us, let's be real. But he did. I don't think he would have done it on purpose, but I would call that malpractice or I don't know, incompetence. When you tell the public to go out and spend money and borrow money and go and live out your dreams in that, because we're going to be keeping interest rates low for a very long time, and you lower them to 1/4%. And then you just, when people have spent and the economy's at its peak, you just go and just start raising up the rates at the fastest rate we've ever seen in our lives. And all the people who ended up with borrowed money on your variable rate now can't even afford to buy shoelaces. It's almost sick how insensitive he was with the way in which he did it, because he had to go after his mandate, which was controlling inflation, because he didn't realize when he printed all of that money through QE that he was going to cause an incredible rate of inflation. And it always does, but this guy didn't think that it would, and it did. And then he had to do something about it, so then he was forced to raise the rates to react to it. Otherwise, he'd be considered incompetent in his job. But he just forgot that he, not only did he cause it, but he really caused a lot of people to feel comfortable about going out and buying bigger homes and things of that nature with these extremely low rates. And then as he jacked it up went their payments. Many people have gone bankrupt. Bankruptcy rate is just gone, I think it's 10 times higher than what it was prior to COVID right now. So people will still say, oh, it's pretty low, but you know, I think that's insensitive. And the other aspect to that is that the Bank of Canada has lost over $500 million last year, and will probably lose the same this year, but it never lost money before in its history. And while he's doing this and bankrupting basically the Bank of Canada, he gave bonuses to his people, while telling all the other companies to don't give out bonuses because you'll be aiding in inflation. You remember that argument that we had about that?
Yes.
And he gives his people bonuses.
Because they did so well for the Canadian.
Yeah, for the Canadian people. I am so surprised.
Remember,
that,
Randy, they won't spend it because they have so much money, right? So
Yeah, they don't even.
Yeah, but it's the point
Just
that
like
that
Anthony
money
here on
that
the
he is spending and giving out to his staff and all that stuff is Canadian taxpayer money, and you just lost $5 billion of it. So what the heck? Anyways, if that was your money that you just went and lost $5 billion of, you gonna give everybody bonuses? No, but because it's not your money, it's taxpayer money. Who cares? It don't matter to me. Everybody have a great time. So that's why I don't think that anybody cares about the Bank of Canada rate at gone down to 3.8, and tomorrow it's going to go down again, because nobody's going to take that mortgage because they don't trust it. They're going to go for the mortgages that are stable, that they know their payment is going to stay like that for 5 years, so they can plan their family's futures. Not a mortgage that's going to go up and down like a toilet seat, and they don't have a clue if one day they can't even afford to keep the house. So that's why those people who are banking on the Bank of Canada bringing down rates and all that stuff, it won't mean anything. The consumer confidence level for the variable rate is in the toilet. Okay, sales up 40% over last year. That is fantastic. However, it is up over one of the worst Novembers we've ever seen. So pepper it, a little bit, or add a little bit of salt to that message. Average price is up 2.6%, and that is a whopper. That is awesome. To 1.1 million. That's kind of telling us that we may have hit a bottom based on all of the variables that we have incurred to this point. But remember, there's new variables coming down the pipeline. You remember what they are? the number of people that sold in 2020, almost 100,000. 2021, almost 120, a little over 120,000.
Can I add on to that a bit? Because like I think those might be skewed somewhat in the sense that condo sales I think are down quite a bit, and condo prices would bring the value down. So I hear what you're saying, where like yes, it's up 2.6%, but I'd want to dig deeper into that number because again, there's condos that are just sitting on the market right now.
Yeah,
And
so
like they're not selling in terms of what the ratio of what's selling. If we have a market last year where we had a whole bunch of condos and a whole bunch of detached, that would bring the market down. If we have this year, it's a little bit of condos and a lot of, because we're selling more $1 million plus homes versus a condo which might cost you 6, 7, 8 to bring that price down a little bit.
fair enough. So basically, what Anthony is saying is that the market is fragmented, something we talked about earlier. So with a fragmented market, we could dig deeper, and if you wanted to dig deeper, condo sales are down. The year-over-year average price is down 5.04%. When you look at the HPI, the home price index, and detached homes are only down a 0.5% or 4.45%. So what we're seeing is that while we're experiencing a increase in average price, based on these stats, with what Anthony was saying, part of the reason is because condo sales are down quite a bit, and therefore the lower end of the market is not performing, and therefore the average price looks bigger. And so that's kind of what he's getting at there, and I agree with that. However, either way, what we're really seeing is we're seeing a marketplace that's holding its ground. Okay, so and average pricing, I do agree, condo sales, and that's why we talked about a fragmented market before, is because it's fragmenting into segments. The condo market is doing very, very poorly, and the condo market being down over 5%. The value of condos are down over 5% year over year this month, while detached homes are almost flat. Is a 0.5% variance. And so so we're starting to see that the detached market is holding solid, condo market not so much. The average price overall on the marketplace is up 2.6%. We talked about that. Here's where it gets a little interesting. New listings are up 6.6%, while the active listings are up 30%. So what we're seeing is that more people are flooding to the market. Now, I was talking to a mortgage broker today who has said that in just this week, he had to turn down 6 people from being able to get their mortgages. And
Renewals.
well, it's not necessarily renewals. They're also looking for money so they can buy bread and everything, because life's hard right now.
I see.
But they need to renew or sell. But they can't sell because the value's not there, and that's one of the reasons why they can't renew, because they can't pull out no money. So,
Pretty
you know, and this
crappy.
is one individual.
6, you just said.
Yeah, no, one individual being the mortgage agent.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. And so you know, the market is starting to show signs of cracking. That's one thing to keep in mind. And that, unfortunately, one person's bad news may be another person's good news for home buyers, people like Jim that are concerned about the home prices and want the home prices to come down so that it can be more affordable for him, because he's right on the cusp of being able to buy. You know, and if the prices just came down more, and then you know, with his deposit, he could actually purchase a home, but he would want the prices to fall a little lower so his monthly carrying costs would be less. So he could continue to be a responsible stewardess and save money, which he seems to have been pretty good at with that income.
And most people can't save, even if they're,
That-
even
yeah.
if they don't have, unfortunately to say this, but even if they don't have a reason to And now I don't know how I was going to word that.
To save? I don't know.
Even
But-
if they're not saving for a particular thing, some people can't do that. So the fact
Right.
that you've saved that much, and
Right.
that's amazing.
Yeah, some people would have
Yeah.
all kinds of Christmas ornaments and all that stuff, and they would go out and buy new ones rather than use the ones they have. I mean, some people are just like that. So we got months of inventory at 3.3, which
Mentioning no names, people.
What do you mean? What are you talking about right now?
We
Okay,
actually
so
have an
months
email.
of months of inventory is 3.3, which is really the tip of the balanced market range. So it still isn't showing signs of buyers having power, but it is slowly moving in the direction of buyers when it comes to months of inventory. When it comes to sales to new listing ratio at 41%, again, we're in the balanced market range again. So the sellers don't have the advantage, the
Where would-
buyers don't have the advantage.
Where would the
but
buyer's range be? Where would the buyer's range
Buyers when we get into 50 to 60%.
Okay.
So typically, some people say 50, some people say 60. And traditionally it was 60, and now people are like, because it feels, because right now it actually
Yeah.
feels like a buyer's market. But it's not. We're in a balanced market, both in the sales to new listing rate ratio trend and in months of inventory. And finally, the average sales to list price is at 99%. So it's holding pretty tight, which means if you were going to go out to try to buy a home for, $100,000, you would be able to negotiate $1,000 off of that home pretty comfortably overall in the marketplace, but different marketplaces are tighter than others. For example, Clarington and Oshawa are at 101%, so you have to actually compete for those homes. Pickering's at 100% and Whippy's at 100%, so you're pretty much buying them at their value, while you're seeing Scugog at 98%. So
all pretty
Scugog,
up there,
Uxbridge
yeah.
at 98% and Scugog at 99.
I didn't get to the article, but this one
Ajax
article
at 101.
that I have says basically there's a prevalence of under asking sales. Actually, approximately 7% of homes sold in the GTA are transacting below the listed price. So it
Very
might be
minimal.
below, but I think it's below, but like close. Like you're saying, 99, 98%.
Because I was looking at something the other night that was saying the same thing. Everything's coming in at about 98, 99%. People are, because I think though, that being said, a lot of people have to sell. So they're
Well, I think now it's
they got to price it to sell, right?
I see some houses still trying to do the list date, but I found like there's one house in my street, two houses. So one sold recently. The other one's been on the market now for I think 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
Another one terminated not too long ago. So
Yeah, there's a lot of
people I think are more
terminations,
willing to just try a thing. Like if it's selling for $850, no, I'm putting it for $8. See what happens. Like see what they say, right? Versus
Yeah.
when you have the oh my gosh, there's 10 other people here. Maybe I gotta like put my best offer. And I think people are now kind of saying, you know what, do something with that and let me know, and then play in the field.
We got one last email.
All right, we got one from William. William says, hello, Merry Christmas to my favorite real estate show. I live in Toronto. Anthony, so sorry for the Trump win.
Anthony, it's funny, William, because 2 days ago we got our first call from somebody who's fleeing the States and wants to move here to Durham. So they reached out for our help.
Are you serious?
I'm not kidding
They want
you.
to leave because of Trump.
And that
won.
was the words that were used. They're
I think people are
fleeing.
just ridiculous,
We are
like-
fleeing the U.S. because Trump and he's not. How long? When was the election? 3 weeks ago?
Well, I know he's not.
Doesn't matter.
I know he's not in office yet, but
Not until
it's
January
been
6th,
again. He's not in office, but it's been pretty tame so far.
I think
Other
he's
than-
done a lot of good already.
Again, for me, I just think Trump. Oh, my main.
He's a bully, but he's a bully for
He's-
the country.
He's just. I don't know. He's a character.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see how it all unfolds.
But anyways, so if you know anybody who wants to move here,
Move from the states.
Give us a phone number.
Donald Trump
I think
won.
that's a bit ridiculous
because
too.
they're
like-
reaching out already.
I think that's hilarious,
Yeah.
really.
I was
sincerely
kind of shocked.
speaking,
When I got off the phone, I'm like, so, Randy, we got our first one.
Like, what do they? Anyways, forget it. We'll know after it all happens, and we sit down and have something to eat. We'll find out what they're really afraid of. It's interesting. And what's even funnier is they're coming here. To Trudeau?
That was what you said, actually. Like, do they not know about Trudeau?
They don't know. They don't. They
What
have
we
no
have in
idea.
power here? Yeah.
And Trump just.
I think
threatened
if I had to
Trudeau.
pick, I might pick Trump over Trudeau.
What?
Trudeau is a complete idiot.
I would pick Castro over Trudeau.
Okay, you're being a bit ridiculous. And as people, thanks for coming along for the ride again. As always, it's been your home, your money. Sorry, your home, your money, and our lives on reality101.com. Have a great rest of your week.
Bye for now.
Be safe and warm.
Thank you for listening to Your Home, Your Money with your hosts, Randy, Jackie, and Anthony, right here on Reality Radio 101.